everyone. Welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 113.
Nothing really special about that number, but it's more than 112, which was our last episode.
Yeah,
Fun
we took
fact.
another break last week.
Yeah, but it's okay. Hopefully there won't be any more breaks of the kind we've had to take where, internet doesn't work.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, everybody's back. Foe went to PAX.
Yeah! Tell us how that was.
It actually might be my last PAX, because it was good, but
But it was lame.
No, every PAX has been less fun than the previous PAX.
Is it because it's
too
the
bad.
same damn thing every year?
It's mostly the same stuff. There's less. I'm rapidly exhausting the breadth of things. Like this time, I spent a big chunk of time just playing board games with people. Like because there's like a board game library, kind of like at Gen Con. I did the same thing.
And there's
here,
another con for that you can just focus on.
Right.
So now,
It does it better.
I just cut PAX completely and just only go to Gen Con. And also this year they streamed more things than any other. So like, I can just watch panels online next year if I really care about it.
Yeah.
And also I hear PAX is doing some like board game specific convention. I don't know what it's called, but because of that, like a lot of the board game companies like Privateer Press or Wizards of the Coast, they just weren't at PAX at all. So like, they just kind of pulled out. But no, it was. I mean, it wasn't bad. I still had fun. It was good. I'm trying to think what the highlights were. The two big demos that I like waited in line to actually play were Biomutant,
Ooh.
which
Oh.
is the like Rocket Raccoon character action game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. I really like this setting. The one downside to it is I still don't think I've played. I don't play a ton of character action games.
Right.
But I don't think I've played one yet that felt as good as like an Arkham game.
Oh.
Like that one versus many kind of reaction reflexy based combat. Like so in Biomutant, most of my combat was like you dash in, you hit a couple times with your sword, and you just kite with your gun. Like it's a lot more kitey, I guess, and it just felt more like just button mash. Like
Very formulaic.
I don't know, a little formulaic, and also the demo didn't have great graphics. I'm not sure when the game's coming out, but it seemed rougher than I anticipated.
Oh.
But not bad. I mean, still cool.
Still excited for it though.
Definitely
Because of
so
the
excited
really
for it.
cool setting and stuff.
Yeah, the character creator is pretty cool. You can make your guy so fluffy. You make him so fluffy. He looks like a Pixar goof up. He's like,
But it actually like has attributes or something, right? The fluffier you are or something.
yeah. I mean, so like,
different
when you're
stuff that you
changing
choose
like
when
your
you-
height and stuff, like it'll affect like your speed and that kind of stuff. And it lets you know in
Right.
real time. The other game I played was the Destiny 2 demo, which
Oh yeah, I played that too.
yeah. Oh, cool. So I
Yeah.
played it for PC,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a tutorial, so I didn't know how to do a lot of things. Like, I didn't switch to my third weapon or cast any of my spells. So I
Did you
kind of
not-
just...
It was like
I've
a
never played
linear
Destiny
story
1.
thing, right?
It was linear. There might have been a little story. I don't know. Like, so it starts off with a cinematic, basically,
Yeah.
with, like, people coming in and attacking the city, and then you're
Oh yeah,
kind of
yeah.
fighting them off.
Then it should be
and
the same
that's-
demo then.
That's it? I don't know. They're definitely, like, so they were talking about no recoil on PC, and they were not joking. There is almost no recoil on PC. Like, just like, hold the mouse down, and you're dead. Move mouse to the side, hold mouse down, and
Wait, only
you're
on
dead.
PC?
They reduced recoil on PC.
Why PC?
Because their reasoning is that having the gun move when you don't move the mouse feels worse than it does on a controller.
Does it though?
Maybe. It might. I don't know. This was a little more... I mean, when I read that, I kind of agree with it. Not strongly, but I kind of agreed with it. But then actually playing it, the lack of recoil was just way more than I anticipated. Like, I definitely think I want a little more recoil than what I did have.
Yeah,
But it could just be the guns they gave me. So I don't know.
maybe.
It
It wasn't
I
very
didn't wait-
memorable though, the demo. I don't know why.
Yeah, it just felt like a shooter. Well, I mean, part of the
Yeah.
problem was I didn't use any of my spells because I didn't know how to use them. I should like the Q and E and V or something like that. I looked it up afterwards.
Yeah, something like yeah.
So that might have made it feel a little more unique, but this just felt like kind of Borderlandsy.
Yeah. I used the spellcaster class.
I think that's who I got. Because you wait in line and they just tell you to go to a computer, and different computers just have a different character.
Okay.
I think I got the caster, but unless it made a difference.
And you start off with all the legendary items and weapons already.
Do you?
So when you start the game, do not think you're gonna start like that.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of annoying though, but I guess I understand, I guess.
I mean, it's never... I never really like having that demo experience where you just feel like you need to finish quickly because there's a huge line behind you and people are watching over your shoulder. That definitely kind of taints my experience. Like, I waited in line for Dauntless, which is the Monster Hunter-esque like game.
Yeah.
It's a little more cartoony. I waited in line. I was watching people play over their shoulders, and I just got out of line because just watching them play, it looked really boring. Because it was like the worst WoW boss imaginable. Where they're just beating on a guy, beating on a guy, beating on a guy. Maybe he'd headbutt one away. He'd start charging some move. You run away. He does it. You run back. Beat on him. Beat on him. It's just like it was super.
So it's another formulaic game.
Very grindy, just like boring, like not dynamic fights at all. I mean, hopefully that was just me seeing a particularly bad moment in the game's not like that, but it was enough for
It's
me to be
co-op,
like,
right?
It's what?
It has co-op.
Yes.
It would be cool to have like they do it like Evolve where everybody is like a different class and they're like somebody's trapping,
I
somebody's
think
healing.
Monster Hunter's that way. Like, I
have
mean,
no idea.
I
I
don't
don't
think
play
you have
Monster
classes per se in Monster Hunter, but you have like gear. So like, I'm wearing the gear of the ranged class, or I'm wearing the gear of the crowd control class, or something. I don't know. I haven't played Monster Hunter, which was also there, the new Monster Hunter, but I didn't wait in line for that. I also didn't wait in line for Cuphead. Cuphead was the one I also wanted to play. Cuphead or what's the pirate one? Dead at Sea?
Sea of Thieves?
Sea of Thieves, yeah. Those were both next to each other. I wanted to play both.
Who is
The
that
lines were
by?
huge.
Is that a Ubisoft one again?
No. So there are two pirate games coming out. One is by Ubisoft, and I forget the name. This is the one that's not by Ubisoft.
Right. The
Because
Ubisoft one is basically Assassin's Creed.
The Ubisoft one's a basically Assassin's Creed, where I think it kind of just, you're entirely on the ship. It's very ship-centric. Sea of Thieves has you, like, going on islands and, like, digging up treasure and that kind of thing a little
like
more.
survival, blah, blah, blah thing.
Something? I'm not really sure. But let's see.
But it's multiplayer only, right? Sea of Thieves?
Maybe?
I think so.
I
Not
don't
sure.
know. The funniest game I saw is, let's see, I have a button. Let's see if this will hold up in camera. I don't know. It's called Future Rust. And
What the?
I have it upside down. I don't
There
know.
you go.
But it is the the button. I'll show you the button.
Oh.
It is mind-bogglingly just like 100% a Machinarium ripoff, and it's so bad. Like, the graphic, it's worse drawn. Like, you click, like, walk over here, and your character's just on the top layer. And he just walks over things. There's no depth. Like, it was so bad. Like, how did they get it PAX? Like, this is embarrassing.
Fuck, I can't even find the game because I keep getting Rust. That's all. The fucking survival game.
It is one word. Futurust. Futurust.
Futurist.
Futurust.
Sounds like a bad some bad like Japanese trying to mishmash English words together for something.
Nope, I'm getting fucking wait. So it's Future Rust.
Basically.
So it's Futurist, basically.
So it's
Yeah, Futurist,
The dev studio is Fat Dog Games.
fucking shit. I keep getting All-Star Futurist Game, an annual baseball exhibition game hosted by the MLB.
They
So
don't
that
want
was
you
a
to
dumb
know
name
about
to
it.
choose.
So if
Always-
I Google
Okay,
Always
finally.
search your names in
Futurist, it's
Google.
not Futurist. Fat Dog Games main
I found the
page.
Kickstarter.
There we go.
Okay, it's really ugly looking.
It's real ugly.
Aw, jeez.
It's like, we want to make Machinarium, but worse.
What everyone's goal is.
It's apparently watercolored graphics.
That's kind of cool, but it doesn't look better.
I can't see it though. It had a
There was-
£500 goal on Kickstarter.
It's real low.
That's
That's
totally not a
super low.
ripoff. This is not
That's
a scam at all.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, someone needed to make a quick buck, I think.
I have all those watercolors. I need to use them somehow. And get
Yeah,
paid for
exactly.
it. There was a game there that was there, like the booth employees like, are you tired of waiting for an Advanced Wars sequel? So were we. So we made one. I don't remember what the game was
jeez.
called, but it looked really cool. If you like Advanced Wars.
Hey,
Like the style was there. It had good.
We were talking
concept.
about an Advance Wars, like spiritual thing.
I think it definitely rang a bell. Seeing as like that
Wars.
looks super familiar. Advanced
Indie
Wars
game.
Successor.
War Groove. Is it War Groove?
Wargroove will give Nintendo Switch.
War Groove
blah, blah.
by Starbound
No, it's not
developers.
Wargroove. Although Wargroove looks really good. That's medieval. Wargroove is medieval, which looks cool. This is called Tiny Metal,
Right. Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
is clearly Advanced Wars.
From Japan, which is I think is by the people who worked on
Or like
Advance
the
Wars.
X Advanced Wars devs, like we want to
Yeah.
make more of this. That's cool. It looks
Yeah.
good.
Nice. So there's gonna be two Advance Wars spiritual sequels, right? Basically.
One
good.
one for Advanced War era, one for like a. Although the other one looks more like Fire Emblem, I guess because it's knights and stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, both Fire Emblem and Advanced Wars do not play similarly, so hopefully it plays more like Advanced
Without the
Wars.
incest though, so it's not a Fire Emblem game.
Shush, all right? Listen, I have an update on that, okay? We'll get to it.
Gosh.
that
So other
later.
games. I have 5 other games I got cards for. There's one called Donut County, which looks. This is something for my camera to focus. It looks a lot like Katamari Damacy. So the idea
Oh.
is you play as a sentient hole. And so you like click on the hole
what?
and you drag it around with the mouse and things fall on the hole and it gets bigger. And so you're trying to like, I don't know.
So like a black hole kind of thing,
Like a hole
Is
in the
the hole-
ground. Like a
hole in the
Roadrunner
ground.
hole.
right?
I
Talking
don't know
about
if it's a reverse anyway.
talking about what you said just now, Katamari, right?
Yeah.
The Katamari creator guy, he's making a new game called Watam.
Uh-oh.
What do you do?
What do you
water,
do?
You roll on collecting more water?
It looks weird, so I guess it's up everybody's alley who likes his games.
Tentacles. It's all about getting more tentacles.
I mean, totally looks like Katamari. When I saw the trailer, I was like, why does this look so much like Katamari and like Nomi Nomi Boy? Oh, it's because by the same person, obviously.
I guess he's kind of a one-trick pony. Don't tell him I said that.
There was a game that looked like Rogue Legacy called Chasm, or as we called it Chasm all week because we're dumb like that. It's a Metroidvania though, apparently, not like a roguelike. Yeah. I mean, it could be cool though. I like the pixel
When
art
you say
style.
Rogue Legacy, I was like, yeah.
Actually, I
No.
haven't played Rogue Legacy. Closer.
Wish
Ooh.
listing this chasm thing.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I liked
Yeah.
a lot of its style. Not much to say about that. I didn't actually get time to play it, but they were next to Axiom Verge, so you know if that rubs off on them, it's going to be good. This
Was
game
that
I'm
on
really
purpose? Same devs, like partners or something?
I don't know. They shared a table. This is by Chasm Game. Nope. Bit
Oh,
Kid
it
Games
probably could be
is the
like, you know,
studio.
like they reached out and like, oh, let's go to PAX together or something.
That could be. I don't know why Axiom Verge is even there though. Like it's been out
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird problem with.
Oh, maybe because
Axiom
they
channel.
I think they're releasing on the Switch,
Oh, you're right. They are.
so it's like a marketing thing.
But they didn't
probably,
have Switches there. It
obviously.
had PCs, I guess, to sell it on the Switch later. I don't know. Weirdness.
Talking about
this game I
Metroidvanias,
really-
there's a game
Yeah.
that just came out called A Robot Named Fight. Which
That's
is a
an
Metroidvania.
awesome name.
Yeah. It looks like a 16-bit Metroidvania. It looks cool. And it doesn't have the tag roguelike. Oh, it does. Fuck. Oh no, it's
Oh,
a
no.
Metroidvania roguelike. Yeah. Oh, this was the game that made me tweet that. I tweeted, yeah, roguelike and Metroidvania don't go together. Stop it. Yeah, this was the game. Stop it, you guys. Fucking design your levels.
The graphics are that's really low graphics.
Yeah.
Gotta really be careful with those hitboxes in that kind of game. That's the sort of game where when you leave the screen, the enemy just respawns instantly, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how it looks anyway. I don't know if it actually does that. It probably doesn't do that, but it's almost too low for me to handle. I don't know that I want to do that. It's cool though. So the another game that I'm really looking forward to is called Frostpunk, and it is a city simulator where you play as like a society trying to survive like this frozen world. So you're like building like power plants that
Yeah,
harvest
it was
thermal
made by
energy.
it's being made by the This War of Mine devs.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense because a lot of the decisions are deliberate, like really hard decisions. Like, do I allow child labor? Do I treat the sick and wounded? You know, it's like random, like hard moral.
Yeah,
we're trying to survive. Everybody has to play their part.
Yeah, man. Totally.
Sounds like a game for me.
So that game, I'm definitely looking forward to that game. Added to my wish list for sure. That's gonna be cool. What's released it on that? The release date, does it say? It doesn't. It somehow got the best game of E3 2017, although I didn't hear about it at E3. I missed that somehow. Divinity Original Sin 2 also looked really cool. I didn't play 1, but 2 looked really cool because it's got a lot more races in it.
Yeah, you can actually play non-human races.
Oh, finally.
And actually, so I was talking to one of the people there at the booth, and he was saying, so there's the playable races, and they also, each playable race has an undead version. So you can start the game as an undead, which has certain benefits, but like, one example of a downside is like, if you walk up to a random villager as a zombie lizard man, they might not talk to you in the same way they would a normal character. So, you know,
They won't talk
close
as
or
a normal
open certain
lizard
doors.
person.
Yeah. So that's really cool. They said
cool.
every single NPC is killable without like making the game unfinishable, but obviously killing certain people will make it harder because it'll close certain quests so you can't grind or whatever. But
Fucking
it sounds
cool.
very, very open, which is exciting.
It sounds way more open than the first one. I don't think you can do that in the first one.
I don't think you could either.
Yeah, it's coming out soon in out of early access.
That's cool.
Yeah. What are the cards for? Just like some collectible thing from packs?
The things I'm holding up right now,
Yeah.
these are just like business cards to let me to like say, hey, check out our website. Here's the information, that kind of stuff. This
nice.
Divinity thing is actually like a little. It's like a full-on. Like,
Yeah, it looks huge.
Pamphlet.
Yeah.
it's the bigger one. All
Nice.
sorts of stuff. Most were just. And the final game is Aegis Defenders, which I picked up purely for the art. But then it's also like a explore, build, defend, which are 3 good words
Why
to
do
have.
I see Humble Bundle on the... Oh, the
Presented
publisher is
by
Humble Bundle. What the
Humble
fuck?
Bundle? Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So that can look cool.
Yeah.
I didn't spend as much time in the indie booth. Like so at PAX there's the indie mega booth, which is on the same level as all the AAA games, and then the next level up is also kind of like a bunch of indie games. I didn't spend as much game time in the indie mega booth as I did in previous years because it was smaller and way more crowded, and I didn't want to I didn't want to spend as much time pushing through. And a lot of things are duplicates. Oh wait, shoot. There's one other game that looked really cool. I didn't get to grab a card from them. Added to my wish list though. It is called The Gardens Between. That game looks freaking cool.
Sounds like an adventure game.
It does.
It's a surreal puzzle adventure game where there are 2 characters and you control neither, but you kind of control time. So your goal is to get them to like to change each of their timelines in various ways so they end up solving solving puzzles for you. Like, oh man, like this character can like pick up the bucket or whatever, but at this time he's like helping an old lady across the street. So if I go back in time and like untie his shoe, he won't see the old lady and walk by here and then he'll pick up the bucket for me or that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So it sounded really
So
confusing
do they
and
just
cool.
keep moving like lemmings or something?
I don't know. I don't know how they move.
Sounds interesting though.
It sounded very interesting.
Wishlisted. Something that
Yeah,
I'm not
for
gonna buy
sure
for a
wish
while.
listed.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, I don't think.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, not for a while. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about at PAX. I met Callie and Tasty Shrimp. That was
Cool.
fun. We played some board games.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're real people.
Yeah,
They are. It was weird. Tasty's super tall.
taller than you.
Yeah. I'm
Dang.
6'2", and he was well taller than me.
Oh, wow. I don't even want... He's like 3 feet taller than me. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, pretty much. I don't know. We'll see if I go next year. I haven't decided for sure one way or the other.
Yeah.
I might just go
Cool
for a
thing.
couple days instead or something.
Yeah. I didn't do too much this week, unfortunately. I have a new job now, that's all I'm gonna say about the matter. But I did finish one game, and I did technically do another game. I'll explain that in a sec. So I finished Fire Emblem Echoes. I actually finished it, I think, last week. Update on the incest situation. They never address it. They do kind of hint that the two main characters are probably kind of descendants of the previous gods, but it's never explicitly stated at all. But they do, like, get married, spoiler alert. So, I mean, if you think that hard, I guess it could be, but it's never explicitly stated that they're supposed to be, like, descendants, even though it seems like they totally are. So
yes, they are. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure it's somehow weird way. The ending of the game had an interesting, I don't know much about Fire Emblem lore, so maybe this is extremely typical of an ending. But it was interesting because the whole idea was that, there are these two gods that two dragon gods that kind of ruled over mankind. And this idea was that humans, they kind of became corrupt over time. And so the idea is that, like, you as humans need to kind of take life by your own hands. It was kind of an interesting thematic way to do it. There is kind of technically post-game content. It's just really hard battles, and so the difficulty with that, I mentioned last time, because I was at the final battle, and I mentioned how frustrated I was because I thought I couldn't change my party members. I was completely wrong. I can change my party members, so good job, guys. That was my fault. So at the ending battle, whoever you end up with, it doesn't matter. You can completely change your party by both sides for the last fight, which was great, so then I could have all my strong people in the final fight, and it really actually wasn't that hard. It just took some maneuvering and some lucky critical strikes. But the hard thing about that is because of the dungeons that you do to get to this point and the final battle, there is a very clear divide of who's, like, at good rank and who's too low level, as a result. It's kind of like when you're grinding in a dungeon, you can't, like, go back and, get everyone else in the same level. So I'm doing the kind of post-game stuff, and I haven't technically finished it, and I start with a couple of first battles, and I put some, like, weaker people to try to level them up, and they died so quickly. And I was like, oh, well, this isn't gonna work. And so they're kind of forever in the sidelines, unfortunately, because unless I go back to earlier dungeons, but So, the post-game is just a couple of random battles, and you technically go to a new continent, and there's just this one major dungeon that's, like, the hardest dungeon of the game. I haven't done it just because I don't know how much I feel like grinding for it, because you basically just get some cool items and stuff like that. It's nothing super big, And I had fun.
At least they didn't make it feel like you had to do it, I guess.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's nice that it's included, to be honest. Like, I like it. Because part of the reason I like it too is it opens the map back up, so actually you can complete some side quests that you couldn't complete before, which I didn't realize at first, so I kind of panicked at first, which is great. So you can actually go back and complete certain quests or upgrade your items and stuff like that, so that's cool. You still kind of have the world open to you, and you have access to all the characters. So it ends well, you can kind of go around and do whatever. I still feel like the ending kind of happened a little fast at first, but I think that's just because I didn't expect it to end. I didn't realize, like, oh, we're heading to the end now, and so it kind of seemed real quick, but otherwise very solid game, but kind of repeating what I've said before, which is that if your only experience with Fire Emblem is Fire Emblem Awakening, just be careful. It's not the same kind of game. It is harder, and there's no marriage with babies, which is whatever. I know. Which, I mean, to be fair, there are canon relationships. So, like, they're already, like, established married couples in the game. There's, like, 3, I think, in the game. So, it's whatever. What's kind of interesting is, I think I mentioned this before, they do have support conversations like Fire Emblem Awakening did. They just don't really do anything. And the only sucky thing about them is that you have to have, like, when you have to, like, choose the option to have them talk during battle, which means sometimes you have to skip a turn to have them have their conversation. You can't do it outside of battle. A little annoying, but you make it work. You just do side battles. And
we're fighting for our lives. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, I know. Let's just chat, And the sad thing is a lot of these chats are, like, really serious stuff, too. And so you're like, really? You're going to talk about this on the battlefield? Like, come on.
You mean, like, couple stuff?
It's
actually,
just like an animu.
The couple stuff actually isn't that dramatic, hilariously enough. They don't really push the whole, like, these couples are having problems. The couples, in fact, are actually often extremely, like, almost disgustingly sweet. Now, I love it, because I'm all about romance and sweetness, but it's almost a little much sometimes. I'm like, okay, I get it.
You're gonna get diabetes from all the sugar.
Pretty much. You're like, okay, I get it. You're so in love with each other. Like, it's that kind of thing. And I mean, it's fine. Like, in all honesty, I'm kind of glad they don't pull the, oh my goodness, did you do something bad? It's really just everyone else that there's drama. Where people who are like there's drama between friends, and sometimes it's kind of almost clumsily put together. Like, the only reason I say this is because early on you have, a couple of your buds, and like two of the, like, okay, there's person A, person B, and person C. Okay? Person A and person B have a chat. Person A wants to talk to person B. Person B's being all, I want to talk to you. And person A is like, why not? And then they find out what's wrong and they get better. Then person A and person C talks, and person C is like, let's talk. And person A is all of a sudden being, I don't want to talk to you. And then they sell their differences. You're just like, what? Why are you having these problems? So that's a little silly. But, I mean, otherwise, the conversations themselves are actually quite nice. They offer a lot of insights to the characters. It gives a lot of background, and they're fun. They're actually it's a nice touch. And also, when you go into town, you can have some like private conversations between them, one of the main characters and the other character, and you just get a tons of backstory. And it's a really nice touch, especially since you don't have to recruit everybody, so they can't make everybody be included in the main, quest conversations. They can only have certain people that you are required to bring with you. So tons of people aren't part of the main quest line as far as their conversations. And so it's a nice added touch. So even though you don't get to marry and have kids, they do a very good job, in my opinion, of still fleshing out the characters, even though there's so many of them. So I highly recommend it if you ever have a chance to play a Fire Emblem game. It's quite good. Just plays very differently. A different game that I played, kind of a game I've been wanting to play for a while, and it was probably a bad idea I waited, and I'll get to that in a sec. So you guys may have heard there was this mobile free game called Sarah is Missing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Yeah, it's by the Malaysian developers.
Yes. So, I had been for a while wanting to do a Let's Play of it where I play with my phone. I found out, I'm not going to get into details because this is not a Let's Play podcast, but I found out it's actually, you can capture video from your phone, quite like what you do on your phone, screen capture, very easily. What you can't capture on Android is internal audio. You can only capture external audio. And I was like, what? So I tried recording with it where I basically had my microphone on, and I had the webcam, and then I captured what was going on here, and I just had the audio up a little bit. And so basically my plan was I was going to have the microphone catch what was going on, and then just delete the external audio that it whatever. Unfortunately, I don't think it recorded all of my phone audio, so I don't think I'll be able to actually do a Let's Play thing with it, but we'll see.
Usually
what happens.
I think the easiest way that people do captures for
Mobile
stuff is like
emulator.
Yeah, on PC.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that they do have a PC version of the game. I just wanted to do the phone. I wanted to do the phone effect. I wanted to show
because
the fact that it was on the phone.
They built it for the phone, sort of, right?
Exactly.
Because you go through the person's phone.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I wanted to do it that way. So that part kind of sucks. I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure it didn't record the whole thing, which really sucks. But I haven't really checked yet. But the game itself, I haven't gone through all the different endings, and the reason I haven't is, so the game itself is very short, which is fine. And the stuff that you do is interesting, and it's legitimately pretty creepy. But the problem is that the endings, you're supposed to get, I think there's a link that's provided, and I think you're supposed to get some kind of picture, but now they've been all taken down. Like, the web pages don't exist anymore.
Why?
Last I checked. I don't know.
It's just images, though.
Hosting fees are way too high. I don't know.
So I haven't really checked to see what those are. So unfortunately, I went through two different paths, mostly because I was only going to do it once, but I completely misunderstood one of the choices, and so I made a very bad choice that I was not intending to do. But so I tried it again, and both times there's it kind of ended pretty much the same way. Like, it sounded like you got a bad ending. I don't know if there is a good ending. I didn't really try, especially since I realized I don't think I recorded the whole thing. So the ending is kind of I don't know if there is a good ending. And the choices are a little weird because the game seems to make you either fall into a trap of you want to save Sarah, or you're an evil kind of masochist.
Oh, so it's two choices basically.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of what it felt like. Because especially since, again, this is kind of spoilerific, but basically you find out that Sarah was kind of kidnapped by a cult, and so was her friend. And at one point, there's a major choice where you have to choose which one to save, and I completely misunderstood whether they want you to pick the person who is saved or the person who dies. So I think I said, whatever I did, I picked the one...
Opposite.
Exactly, so I misunderstood. And so I was like, wait, no! And so then the game's like... Because basically the whole story is her Siri, who's super intelligent for some reason, is trying to help you find Sarah. And I bet that has a whole thing to do with it that they don't really explain. And so the first time when I accidentally picked the wrong person, they were like, the AI was like, why didn't you save Sarah? And none of the choices made sense. They were either basically like, I wanted to see what happened, or I didn't have a choice. Like, I'm like, none of these are true. I don't know what to pick here. You know, and there's other parts of the game where you can be super into like, oh yeah, I want to see what you're gonna do. Like, they have really they send you really disturbing images of like tortured people, so it's one thing to kind of be careful of. But the idea of like searching through somebody's phone and going through text messages and emails and stuff it's a very interesting idea.
There's a free similar game I played a while ago called A Normal Lost Phone, which is the same kind of deal.
I would be interested in looking into it. I'm a really weird, creepy person in that I like that feeling of kind of snooping through things. I blame it on the fact that I was obsessed with Nancy Drew as a child. It's a horrible guilty pleasure of mine to play those kinds of games where I get to like snoop through people's stuff. So for instance, Her Story, I absolutely was obsessively in love with that game because I'm just sitting on the computer like typing things and trying to research things. And this game too was like, it was creepy, but I was also like, you know, going through somebody's phone, going through stuff and, you know, trying to learn all about them. And again, this is a horrible dark side to me that does not play out of my normal life, but it is definitely like a interesting thing. And so I'd be interested in looking into it, because one thing that I think with Sarah's Missing that I didn't like so much is that the whole game was very much you talking to an AI program who is leading you down to what you should be doing, when in reality I feel like it would be more interesting if you just kind of snoop through someone's phone and then try to contact people and kind of figure out yourself what's going on, you know what I mean? But I understand it's very hard to program something like that. So
have you played any of like the hacking simulator games like Hacknet, or I played Mainliner Today, which is okay. It's a similar thing. It's basically like you're in someone's computer saying like, oh, your favorite sport is baseball. That's the password to your other account, so now I can access this other thing, and it chains through.
Yeah. I mean, those would be my kind of stuff. For me, the problem is that like I would want to know, there needs to be like a story behind it. Like why am I doing this? Not just for sake of doing it. You know, I'm weird like that. I forgot there's another game I played. I'm only going to keep going because it's actually related. There is another game I played, actually. I haven't done all the endings. So I finally played Analog: A Hate Story. Do you guys know that visual novel?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So this visual novel was made a while ago. There's a sequel to it by Christina Love. Is that her name, Shar? Yeah. She has been known for... She's made a lot of... she kind of has got her name known for making a love story. Was that what it's called? Yeah. It was a digital love story.
Digital love story. So this is Analog: A Hate Story. Yeah,
exactly. And she made another game that was called Sorry Babe, It's Just This Story Isn't About You, or something like that. Which I tried to play, and then I stopped because there's pedophilia in it, technically. And I decided, no, thank you. Basically, the game's about... It's an interesting premise. Basically, in this... It's kind of creepy because... I'm talking about two different games now, but I'm just going into this to explain Christina Love. Sorry, babe, this just isn't your story. It's a really interesting idea because it's kind of weird that this game was made way in the past, but it's pretty telling in that it was pretty good at telling the future in some ways, because it's basically about like kids these days have access to everyone's social media, and so now teachers at a high school are making sure they have access to the same social media stuff so they can be kept abreast of everything that kids are going through. So it's basically about this substitute teacher who's down on his luck, and he's kind of looking through all these kids' stories and all their gossip and stuff like that, and at the end it's basically supposed to turn out that like, yeah, dude, you just kind of looked through a bunch of high schoolers' drama, isn't that kind of weird? But technically you can totally enter in a romance with one of the students, and they totally play it straight. like it's okay. You're just like, what? And I didn't even mean to make that choice. The problem was that I was making choices that I didn't realize were gonna, like, literally I was like, okay, like, you know she's gonna ask you out because you have snooped through her social media account, so you know she's gonna do it. So she comes up to you, and I'm trying to just be nice to her, but literally it's like, okay, yeah, I'll walk her home. Click yes to be nice to her. Wait, why are we kissing? Like, that's literally the jump.
Too nice. Too nice.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's that story. Christina Love is a very interesting lady. I haven't played Digital Love Story, but I know pretty much the story about it. Anyway, she's kind of become infamous for her stuff. Analog, a hate story. All it basically is in the future, you go on this derelict ship that was one of the ships from way, in the past, but still in the future, that was trying to find colonies outside of Earth. There was a major accident on it. You don't know what happened. You have gone to the computer. You find this AI, and you're just going through pages and pages of documents about the last few years that happened on this ship. And you found out that even though the ship came from the future, after felt like 100 years, it kind of reverted back to this weird feudal system of hierarchy and families, and very much it's heavy on the sexism aspect, how men rule over women and the ideas behind that and stuff like that. So it's, again, very much kind of a searching through all the backlog story like her story, and it's very sad. It's very, very sad. I haven't gone through all the endings yet, but it's definitely pretty heavy, and I'll be curious to see about Analog, the sequel, Hate Story 2, where it explains more about why. So, Analog, a Hate Story is not for everyone. It really isn't, especially if you are, I would say, people who are not into reading about social justice stuff, because it's very heavy-handed. But it's interesting as far as reading it through. So it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's definitely interesting.
Oh, okay, that's it? Okay.
That's all I got. Yeah, that's been my couple of weeks.
I didn't do much. So before the podcast, I was reading this article about whitewashing, and because of course you do, and
obviously,
it was by what website is this? Pace Magazine, is it?
PC Magazine?
Pace Magazine.
Oh, okay.
So they were talking about I think they talked to agents or something, and those agents have, experience talking to casting directors and stuff. So one of the quotes is basically, casting directors found that, I don't know what they based this on, but basically casting director says Asian actors do not express themselves very well. I think it's basically them just saying that we are slanty-eyed. I think that is it.
I guess.
Their eyes don't move is what he's trying to say, I'm guessing.
Their eyes... Also, that is the most ridiculous thing I've heard. What? Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Wow. All right. That's a thing now,
so
apparently.
Funny. I just can't.
I know, right?
Just
what are you supposed to do with that information? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right,
it was
cool.
It was too funny. Yeah.
I'm glad you're laughing.
Yeah.
I'm just crying on the inside.
So, I played Yakuza 0.
Oh.
Started playing that. It's a very Japanese game. I think I'm only a couple hours in.
Were they very expressive, though?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, not really, too. I love the voice acting, though. The way Yakuzas talk, those really, anime style.
Really hammed it up.
Yeah. The voice acting is much better than Persona 5. Persona 5, did I say that I finished Persona 5 already?
I don't think you have.
Okay, so I finished Persona 5. And
okay.
Man, that game's voice acting is hit and miss. Sometimes it's okay, but it's sometimes when everybody's angry, it sounds okay. Sometimes when they try to be emotional, it doesn't sound okay. And then there's this one character that really fucking annoys the hell out of me. The voice act, I don't know what maybe it was the director's fault. They basically just told her to be monotone as fuck, I guess. Try to be the cute Japanese anime character that you can't do, maybe. I don't know. Because it was in English, and I was so yeah, Persona 5 is fucking amazing. I just started the New Game Plus, and I'm gonna play that.
Nice.
It's one of the best games I've ever played. Holy shit. Yakuza 0, I just couple hours in. Reached the starting point of the second chapter. It's very open-ended. Like straight away, I could just go around and do stuff. But I'm not sure if there's a point in the game where it basically says, okay, now you can like do whatever. But I felt like I could do whatever from the start. It's just that certain points they will like block all the roads because they want you to go through a certain part to trigger something. So they gave you a lot of freedom right almost from the beginning. The fighting is really fun though. It feels like each punch can kill someone. It feels really good. Yeah.
Cool.
So, but I'm still really early in. I quite suck at the fighting for now. The evading and stuff because you have like multiple fighting styles.
Oh, okay.
You have the brawler, which is like the normal one, and you have like the quicker, more evasive type, and then there's like the beast where you can just take damage and like just grapple people and shit. It's really cool, and it's really funny, and the voice acting is really good. I'm not super into it like I was with Persona 5. Maybe not yet, but I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good.
That's good.
I recommend it. Probably gonna get the Yakuza Kiwami, which is the remake of the first game, because they just announced the remake of the second game, Yakuza 2, Yakuza Kiwami 2, I guess. And Yakuza 6 is also coming out. There's a lot of fucking Yakuza games. I'm not sure if I can play all of them because I might get burned out because it's just open world and like punching people. It's really cool. It's an open world action game with random encounters.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so you just like walking through the streets. And then there'll be and then there'll be like fucking 3 delinquents or 3 yakuzas or 3 assholes or 3 drunk people. They were like, oh, this guy, let's fight him. Yeah, let's fight that guy that's obviously gonna kick your ass.
Oh my gosh. It
because
works,
Kiryu looks really, really buff. Okay, you can see his specs through a fucking suit. I don't want to mess with a guy like that.
No, definitely.
But it's fun. But it's fun just punching people in the face. And I haven't tried out all the activities yet. I haven't done a lot of side quests yet. But I did karaoke, and I loved it. It's a very good rhythm game, and it's very cinematic. Basically, the guy is singing, and then sometimes it will be teleported to like a stage, and he'll be like playing guitar or something. Or if it's a really sad song, he'll be in a bar drinking, like feeling all sad and shit. It's fucking amazing. I love it.
So funny.
It. Yeah, it's there's just something about that game that just makes me smile for some reason. I don't know.
I've heard that from a lot of people that it's just a fun game and it's good at what it does, which is nice. I'm glad.
I recommend it. Yeah. Also recommend Persona 5. I actually bought like I bought a PS4 thinking like Horizon Zero Dawn. This is the game that, and then I played Persona 5 and I'm like, yeah, this is the game. Like, this is the one.
This is a game for it.
Yeah. I couldn't get all the. I need to play the New Game Plus to get like everything.
Yeah,
just
that's
didn't
typical.
have the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's typical of Persona games. I hear you kind of have to play it again to really get everything because you can't really do it in one full sweep. Or if you do, you need to be very. I mean, you can't mess up like once. Basically, it's very.
I'm not
specific.
sure if it's even possible because like certain things is like you need to have your social stat to be a certain level before you can
Yeah, exactly. Some stuff I don't think is, but I think you can get like the main people, but I think certain side people you kind of have to try again.
Probably, yeah. So
Speaking of Japanese voice acting, I actually did watch an anime, which is very rare for me, but mostly because I was forced to watch it, so I don't know if this counts.
Were you strapped down to a chair?
No, it was more like my brother and his friend were talking about this anime, and then they said, Sarah, you need to watch it. And I was like, okay. And they're like, no, we're going to make you watch it. And they put it on TV. So I was like, okay. But it actually, I mean, it was pretty funny. You might like it, Char, because it's pretty tropey on anime tropes. No. Shut up.
That's your thing, not mine.
Shut up. My voice just cracked. What the heck? Anyway, sorry, folks. Anyway, but no, it is pretty. It's tropey with the anime tropes, but I feel like they do it in such a way that's not. Anyway, you'd have to watch for yourself. It's called Konosuba. It's a newer anime. I don't know when it came out. It's also called God's Blessing on This Wonderful World.
Konosuba. Okay.
Konosuba. I check it out. I think you might like it, Char. The production value is very high. You can tell. As in, like, the animation is way too good than it should be. Like, it's been a while since I've, like, watched... Is it a video game?
There is a video game, and it's made by, it used RPG Maker as its engine. It's pretty cool,
oh, okay. Maybe it was fan made. Anyway, the plot of the game, how do I even describe it? Plot of the game is basically...
no, the creator made it with RPG Maker.
Oh man, that'd be so funny. The plot of the game is basically this NEET, as they call him, a guy who's just stays inside and plays video games all day. He tries to go out to buy a video game, which he never does. He then dies because it's very Yu Yu Hakusho. He's trying to save a girl from, like, being hit by a truck, and then he awakens in this basically the afterlife, and he finds out that he actually didn't need to save her. She wasn't going to die anyway, and he actually only died of shock because he thought he got hit by the truck, and he wasn't actually hit by the truck. So he died, like, of a heart attack in the hospital. Everyone just laughed at him. So he started with that.
Is it a comedy?
Basically, yeah. It's kind of a comedy. Yeah, it's more of a comedy. There's some dramatic moments, but it's more of a comedy. Right. And it's more of an adventure comedy. Basically, then one of the goddesses, her name's Aqua, she's a super bitch. She laughs at him, and then basically he can go to heaven, which she tells him is super boring. You don't want to go there. They just sing all day, and you can't have sex. But she said, or you can be reincarnated. And there's this world that basically plays as an MMO. It's just a world that plays exactly like an MMORPG. And basically, they're trying to get people to go to this world, and especially Japanese people, to go to this world. So they give them perks where if they choose to reincarnate this world, they keep all their memories and they get, like, one special thing. And the reason they want to is you kind of find out throughout the story that you think basically what happened is some guy, like, took over this world as the evil demon lord, and now it's, like, a terrible place to live because literally monsters just attack you randomly, and you have to find ways to get gold or else you can't get anything or go anywhere. And so, but the main thing is he's like, oh, so I'll reincarnate here. I choose you to take with me. You're a goddess. So he takes this useless goddess with him, and then gets two other people to join, like, in a guild so they can try to take on the demon lord, and it's just all their mishaps.
Question.
Yes.
Some of the pictures kinda looks like it's ecchi or hentai.
It is kind of. It's not hentai. There are
very
fan servicey. It's very fan servicey. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Is that why you said I might like it?
No, actually, no. It was actually because the way the Japanese tropes are, the way the Japanese anime tropes are, they're played straight and also not played straight.
So they're kind of aware of it.
Kinda, yeah. I would say they're pretty aware of it for most of the time. The main character especially seems he's very genre savvy, which makes it kind of funnier. And Aqua, which is the goddess, she's very annoying. But the way they do her annoying tics is almost endearing. Not necessarily endearing, but almost more funny. Like, if handled any other way, she would be the worst character ever. But it's almost just kind of ridiculously funny how she's handled. And just
it's
some
just
of
so
the
over
mishaps.
the top, basically.
It's very over the top. Just some of the other things to keep in mind.
Quite a lot of fan service. And
it's a lot. It's very
a lot of fan art as well.
Oh, I bet there is.
Yeah,
I bet there is. It's ridiculous. Basically, to give you an idea,
Aqua is the blue-haired one, right? Blue hair.
Yep. Aqua's the blue-haired one.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of, because it almost at first you think it's going to be a harem anime, but it really isn't in some ways. Like, you think it is, but yet it kind of isn't. Like, because Aqua and the main character Kazume, Kazume's not attracted to her at all. Like, there's no, like, anything. There's some romantic tension with him and the other two girls, but not really with Aqua at all, which would be who you think would come from. The other two characters, one is a wizard who only knows one spell, Explosion, which is the most powerful spell in the game, but she can only do it once per day. That's all she knows how to cast. And the other character is is a crusader, but she has very high defense and a lot of health, but her accuracy is so low she can't hit anything in front of her, and she also is sadistic, so she loves going into battle because it turns her on, basically, like when she's in danger and when people treat her badly. That's where the fan service gets really bad, is with her. So, yeah. Also, the other main thing is Kazume, he actually has really bad stats except for his luck. Again, when you watch it, it'll make more sense. But one of the first skills he learns is steal, but which is luck based, and so because his luck is so high, he always steals the best things, which at first is other girls' panties. Because it's the most valuable
the best
item.
Things.
It's the most valuable item in the game. Mm-hmm. To resell is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a thing. But it's, I don't know, like it's played straight, but it's so over the top, and the animation is way too good than it should be. I remember like every time the one mage character has to cast explosion, you're like, oh, that's where the budget went. So it's if you can get through it, I'd say it's worth it. It's only 2 seasons. They're hoping for a 3rd season. Apparently the manga's done, and my brother read through all the synopsis, because I don't know if it's been translated, and he says it actually had a very satisfying ending, surprisingly. So maybe the anime might also... Actually, no, there wasn't manga. They were light novels, excuse me.
There's 2 seasons and 1 OVA or something like that.
Yes,
from what
exactly.
I'm looking at.
So hopefully maybe they might renew us another season. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's definitely something else. So I recommend checking it out. Okay. I think you might like it. It's very over the top. Again, I don't know. Aqua might be too annoying for you, but everyone else is pretty great.
But she's like the main character.
She's one. She and Kazumi are the 4 of them honestly are all leads, but yeah, she and Kazumi are kind of the main characters. But I mean, the usual tropes with her are not as annoying as I expected. And again, I think it helps too that Kazumi has no attraction to her. Like, there's no weirdness, but I mean, there's weirdness between them, but not like that. And I think that helps a lot. It's not. You're not constantly eye rolling with it, so it's worth checking out, I think. But yeah, so that's my anime pick for the week, I guess.
Yeah, cool. That's about it for me. Yakuza 0, Persona 5, a couple of games came, but I still haven't had time to play it all yet. Yeah. Oh, something happened. Steam got blocked in my country for a while.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't hear this.
They banned it. Basically, what happened was there was this game called Fighting of Gods or some stupid shit like that. And it's one of those like, why the fuck are you wasting your time playing this game kind of thing?
Is that the Smite card game?
No, it's not. It's one of those like, it's not an asset flip, but it's not that much better than an asset flip. If you get what I mean. It's just a shitty
I think
game.
So.
Okay.
It's one of those like shit games that gets a lot of positive reviews on Steam for shits and giggles, I guess.
Oh.
Something like that, maybe.
All I could think of when you described that was Flappy Bird, because you said assets, or they rip off assets. I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's basically what I'm imagining right now.
So Fighting of Gods, or whatever it's called, you use gods to fight each other. And it's not just your usual, Greek and Roman gods, blah, blah, blah. You can use Jesus to fight Buddha in this game.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Even though technically both of them are not gods, whatever.
Yeah, sure enough.
So Malaysia doesn't like shit like this, and and they banned it basically for a while, and now Steam is back up, but the game is banned here.
That makes more sense.
That makes more sense. I mean, it's stupid, but it makes more sense than banning Steam.
Yeah. So yeah, my country, I guess.
Oh man, welcome to Malaysia.
Don't worry. The US don't have a monopoly on dumb politicians.
Oh, definitely not.
Dumb politicians everywhere.
Yeah.
They probably have a club that they meet up like once a year or some shit.
Oh my gosh. Every time I look on the news, I'm like, he did what? Anyway.
Yeah, so it's really dumb. For some reason, they think we need to be protected, like our sensibilities or something. We just get so easily offended here.
You get so triggered. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, way more than the Americans, let me tell you that. Okay. News time?
Yeah, news time.
Okay. Let's start with some big ones, I guess. I got a couple of big ones.
Go ahead.
Shadow of War. You guys know that game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of their executive producers died. Yeah. Let me see. What's his name? Executive producer
Working
Michael
too
Forgy.
hard.
Whoa.
Forgy tragically died from a brain tumor last year at the age of 43. He was executive producer for the game. Leaves behind a wife and 3 children. Much loved member of the Monolith, blah blah blah. So they made a character out of him, like I think named him Forthawk Oxslayer. Like it's supposed to be him or something, right?
Okay.
And it's a paid DLC.
Okay.
It's $5.
Okay.
$3.50 will go to the family. Basically, this is how it works. Anybody that buy it who is in the US, but not from one of these states, okay? Alabama, Hawaii, Illinois, Massachusetts, Mississippi, or South Carolina. Anybody not from these states, but in the US, that buys this DLC. This is old news, by the way. It's like last week, no episode. Whatever. So the $5, $3.50 will go to the family up until December 31st, 2019. $3.50 will go to the family, and the rest of it will go to like whatever digital platform that they use, like that take their cut 30%, like Steam or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently Warner Brothers is not making money out of it if you buy from the US.
Oh.
If I buy it,
Interesting.
if the UK people from UK buy it, Canadians buy it, it doesn't go to the family. It will go all to Warner Brothers and whatever cut digital platform thing. So they are literally using a person's death to sell DLC.
Yep. Yeah, they are.
Warner Brothers, ladies and gentlemen, Warner Brothers. They can say whatever the fuck they want. This looks like they are using a person's death to make money. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
well, absolutely. I mean, if they really wanted to, like,
The thing is,
know.
they actually came out and said, they released a statement saying, neither Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment nor Monolith Productions will profit from any sales of the DLC, regardless of the territory in which that DLC is sold. So where the fuck my money will be going then?
Yeah, seriously. Apparently it's going through a vacuum.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So yay, capitalism. This is a.
I don't have anything to say.
I don't know. It just sucks, man. That just sucks. There's other ways to... man.
Man,
You
this
could put
Shadow
a
of War
statement.
went from, I think I might pre-order it. Now it's like, I might be buying it if it's $5. Like,
Yeah, I know. It just
with
sucks.
their
I know
fucking like microtransaction in a $60 game as
Yeah.
well, because they have a multiplayer component to it. And the
Yeah.
microtransactions are basically, if I'm not mistaken, it's like units, orc units
Mm-hmm.
that you can buy that can also die.
Yeah.
Consumables that you buy.
Yeah,
but-
Segue.
Segue, okay.
Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
The
Shaders.
So in Destiny 1,
Yeah.
you had you could buy skins for all your gear. It's like a slot. You can slot it in, slot it out, whatever you wanted. In Destiny 2,
It's a consumable.
it will be consumable now.
Yeah.
Because microtransactions.
In a $60 game.
Yep.
Like,
Fantastic.
like I even understand if they just want
I
to
mean,
like
at
sell
least it's
skins.
just consumables, but why?
Money.
Whoever invented the
money. Money's the answer,
microtransaction
obviously.
in games.
Oh,
needs to,
Destiny 2. They started selling like a week ago some kind of like pin, which will be shipped to you, and with the thing also has a code which gets you an emblem in the game, and all proceeds will go to this charity that's helping the victims of the hurricane in Houston, I believe.
Mm.
So that's cool, but still,
There's a bigger hurricane coming.
yeah. So many
Yeah, I
hurricanes.
think-
What the fuck?
So many hurricanes.
Wasn't
have a
Florida
second
hit with one
pin.
or something?
It's going
It's
to be
about to
hit. It's in the.
be,
It's
like,
about to be
tomorrow.
basically. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way,
Tonight
why
or
is it
something.
that everybody is like, oh, America's gonna be hit, but nobody gives a fuck about the Caribbean?
I
already
think
got
he
hit.
answered the question.
Okay.
It's just pirates. There was some island that people were talking about that got hit because they said like 100% of the structures are gone.
Yeah, I forget. Oh gosh, which island was it? It was really bad. Like they said it was like underwater, basically. Ugh, crap.
Yeah.
What's the name of the island?
But
But
global
yes.
warming is fake, right?
Well, duh.
Yeah. This is a storm. It's not that hot.
Not that hot. Also, when it's cold, it's not
Not a
global
firestorm.
warming. It still gets cold in the winter.
Snow. See? Snow. It
Snow.
exists.
I can disprove global. Oh my gosh. Anyway, weeping for humanity over here. Moving along.
One more thing, and then you guys can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. It's about the Creation Club thing by Bethesda.
Yeah.
That paid
The
mods,
paid
but it's
mod
not
DLC
paid mods,
thing.
but actually it is.
Yeah. It's between mods and
jeez.
the DLC.
Yeah. The way they've done it is really dumb.
No.
They
No,
force,
really?
They force you to download every fucking mod from the Creation Club store.
Holy crap.
And when you pay, you kind of unlock it. And I was like wondering, why is Steam downloading like 2 gigabytes for my Fallout 4?
That's a lot of stuff.
And that's just the start. What if they keep adding
It's
shit?
super dumb.
What? Why
It's
do
not
keep-
a
I wonder if
bug.
it's
It's
how
a
they,
feature.
ensure
It's
not a
bug.
or something.
that literally makes no sense. I
It's
don't.
not a good way though.
It's not a bug. It sounds like a fucking Skyrim game. Skyrim in real life is not a bug. It's a feature.
All right, they're gonna really regret that one. Suddenly, it's like 10 megabytes of info.
And
Jesus.
because it downloads those. Okay, so the Creation Club mods does not play nice with mods from other places like the Nexus.
Of course.
Of course not. That would make sense.
And apparently, because it's forced downloading it, it is screwing up with people's load order. So I don't even know now if I can actually finish building my settlement right now. So because like
Oh gosh.
I haven't tried it yet. Because I had to like reformat my PC and stuff, and I just don't want to mess with all the mod things again
yeah.
until I find the mood, you know. But it was like
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to try it now. It might be like all my hard work gone.
Really? Well, that's dumb.
So yeah, and the Bethesda, what's his name? Pete Hines came out and said, "Is that his name? Pete Hines? Yeah." He came out and said, "I know people are upset, but mods and R will and continue to remain free." I guess because people are saying like, "Oh, if the Creation Club mods will play nice with free mods, are they trying to force us to use Creation Club mods?"
Kinda.
Sounds like it, right?
Sounds like it for sure.
Have all these mods. That's what I feel like
And
right
the
now.
current mods that's on the store are basically just like recolors of shit.
Oh.
People were
that's
like
dumb.
thinking, oh, they're gonna do quality assurance stuff because it's going
Mind-blowing.
to be like mechanic changing stuff or story based stuff. Nope, just recolors. Apparently, you need to test that a lot. Coloring your Pip-Boy differently needs to be tested a lot. Having a gold crab needs to be tested a lot.
Oh, good.
Horse armor. So yeah,
good.
that's a thing. Fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Bethesda, fuck you
All
guys.
right.
Okay, I'm done. What you guys
I have a pretty big thing. I don't know how much we want to get into it because it's one of those touchy subjects. But
It's a
you guys,
social justice thing.
Is it
Yeah.
fractured butthole?
Oh yeah, the South Park thing.
yeah, that's exactly
oh man,
what it was.
I love that. I love
I
that.
know it.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
yeah, so basically, I don't know much about it. I kind of just found out about it. I actually don't know much about the new South Park video game, but they're basically having extensive character creation where they're making it that like skin tone and gender and whether you're trans or cis technically has an effect, as in like difficulty level and how much money people give you and stuff like that. And it's
Basically, the darker you are, the more difficult the game will be.
yeah, like literally it's like easy, very difficult, and it's a slider that's like a gradient.
And
of
apparently,
difficult.
I think you said it doesn't affect combat, just every other aspect of your
Right.
whole life.
Just every other aspect, just not combat.
I love that
Yeah.
line.
So yeah, exactly. And it's also and apparently like if you're if whether you're male or female or also transgender, they also kind of give you you get less loot or have a harder time and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of kind of discussions of like, is this
Discussions.
this I mean not really, just a lot of people yelling at each other from both
Screaming into
sides.
echo chambers.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna
the
go
article.
to Twitter right now.
Yeah, oh jeez. I mean, the article that I read about it was very obviously like anti-SJW, and so that's so that's kind of
What?
like whatever.
Which website did you go to?
This website that took me there was Daily Caller. This just because it was the first thing that popped up. It had a good job of
Okay.
explaining the stuff, but obviously they were very
Daily
much...
Caller. I'm really gonna read that now.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say, it's not, they actually did a pretty decent job of just kind of explaining the facts, thankfully, but they're just some simple little like...
Oh,
meh
Ian
things.
Miles. Okay.
Yeah,
Explains
there's
it.
just there's just a couple of little like where it's like, okay, I get it, I get your point of view kind of thing, so whatever. But yeah, it's one of those things, and I don't know how I feel about it, because on one hand it is kind of funny, on the other hand it is kind of like, I don't know. I think the hard thing is the article that I read, of course, they insisted that it was a satirical take on identity politics, when you could easily, as in like saying like how stupid it is, when you could also easily say that it's a satire of like
real effect.
Exactly. So like that's I think that's one of the reasons it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, is just purely the way this article phrased it, where it's like, haha, they're literally like, the article literally said something like, oh, they're making fun of how the Avengers are trying to be more diverse, and I was like, that's a weird thing to say. But anyway, so the article is just stupid. But so whether what it is or not, when is satire just kind of being more, when is it needed kind of thing at this point? So it's weird, but. Well, I mean, that's one way to do a simulator, I guess, like that. The truth.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's like doing this basically means I can't really play the character I want on the difficulty that I want.
Right.
That's also just the matter of fact, too. It's like you can't actually make yourself, look like you without having your choice taken away from you of difficulty level.
That being said, I think South Park knows their audience, who theoretically have pretty thick skin.
That's also true.
I mean, if you watch South Park, you can't be super triggerable.
That's
or you wouldn't enjoy it.
It's definitely true. I mean, it's definitely, like, to be fair, this always happens. Every video game that gets put on blast, it's like the worst parts, of certain video games that get put on blast, and people who don't play video games be like, that's so wrong. I mean, as a white girl, I've had to deal with this a lot, where, like, my, friends of my demographic are like, why do you, the video games are so terrible like this, and I want to look at them and go, I know what shows you watch. I know, I mean, that's fine, you can watch those shows. I'm just telling you, you're kind of calling the kettle black right here. So, it's that kind of thing.
I would be astounded if this is the most shocking thing in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't feel that. So it's one of those things. I mean, I think from just a practical level, I'm kind of on Char's side, where it's like, I think it just kind of sucks that the agency's taken away from you.
Yes.
I don't mind if it's an option.
Yeah, I kind of almost wish it was more of an optional thing, where it's like, LOL, you can turn this on or off kind of thing.
Video games have the thing called an options menu.
Right.
Use it, please.
I know. That's the thing, too, is
I
feel like...
use the options menu.
Right. I mean, that's one of the things I'm kind of sick and tired, just in general, is this idea of, like, people do get mad when you have sometimes more options for things. I mean, those are a very small amount of people, like, when you have an option to make the game easier or something, and I'm like, that's just really stupid. Why can't you have that option? You're just making it more accessible to more people but yeah, definitely.
Because it's against the creator's artistic vision or something.
Oh, whatever. You can still have it. Yeah, I know what you mean, though. But yeah, it's so stupid. But I totally agree with you, Shar. Like, you can have it as an option. That's okay. So I think that's kind of the main thing with this game. That's kind of eye-rolly.
I think it's because also, like, a lot of the developers don't like putting options is because they feel like maybe they're not very
it's more work for sure.
Maybe they're not confident with the choice they made.
Maybe. I mean, I think that's a good point.
The thing is, I feel that if it's an option, I still think there's a lot of people that's gonna, use it as a feature. Like, I'm gonna play this darker skin character and play it on a more difficult level. Difficulty.
Right. Well, they're gonna want to play. Well, because I mean,
there will be people that play it that way.
Well, people do, because as Foe said, South Park caters to a very certain demographic. He's absolutely correct about that. So there will be people who play the game who are a fan of South Park and do find that kind of interesting or funny, which is, whatever, and they do it. They're gonna play it that way. I don't think there's anyone who wouldn't. That the people who are playing, that game are not necessarily gonna be like, LOL, I'm white, so I'm only gonna play easy mode. Absolutely not. You know what I mean? And so they're gonna try it out and see what happens. Yeah. So,
and it feels like also like they're afraid to give control away. Like, they want to control the player and, like, what they do and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just kind of, it's almost, I mean, I'm not saying this about the South Park creators. I'm just saying that idea in general is just kind of almost juvenile. It's like, okay, come on. It's okay to have choices. But I agree. But yeah.
Well, this is kind of like that tweet I posted in Discord earlier in the week. There's an interview with Jordan Amaro, who's a Japanese game dev, and they asked him about the difference between Japanese game development and Western game development. And he said, when we worked in Los Angeles, all game pitches started with something like, "This is the world you're in. This is the experience I'm going to give you." As in Japan, it's always more about who you're playing, who is the character, what's going on. Sorry, that's America. Japan it's how are you playing? The actual gameplay, the mechanics, the feel of the game, not just forced narrative or forced.
So you're
experience.
talking the actual
you make
pitch,
your own experience.
The pitch part.
Yes, when you're proposing the game, how you describe the game, the first words in Western are the narrative kind of thing. In Japan, it's more the gameplay.
Yeah, like all the developers I
can see
interview,
that.
whenever I ask them to like, what's your game about, and they always start off like, you're playing this person in this world kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's why we have so many games that are freaking similar.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
no,
all
in this one you're a
cinematic.
Viking. It's like, yeah, but I played the same
my
game
gosh.
earlier when I was a pirate. Like, it's the same freaking game, guy.
Maybe, well, it's funny because then I think of the Final Fantasy series, and I feel like they take the more Western approach with that game. But
I think because they have the gameplay mechanic down pat, maybe.
yeah, and so they just kind of they just rehash the same old
Like,
things.
I
Yeah,
mean,
can see
Platinum
that.
games. You
Yeah.
hack and slash things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you
It's
punch
interesting.
people with your hair fists. Fist made of hair.
Well, so in those games, you don't need to set the world as much because it's, I guess, half their games lately have been other IPs like Korra or Transformers or
Yeah.
something.
Nier
Yeah, it's true,
Automata.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. I'm always a huge fan of the more Japanese approach, where I'm a huge believer in that the way that your game I think what makes video games so interesting as far as a medium of storytelling is the way that the mechanics work should impact, your feeling within the story. I think it's very powerful. So for example, Ico, even though Ico had a lot of buggy problems, one of the choices of mechanics that you could choose is whether, because you have to hold that one girl's hand to like lead her because she's useless or whatever.
You
and
mean
one of
Ico?
Ico, yeah, I pronounce it Ico, so Ico.
Okay.
Whether you could choose in the control menu whether you just tapped a button to hold on to her basically, or whether you had to hold it down. I actually chose the harder option where you have to hold it down, and it changed the experience because all of a sudden you have to keep holding on to keep her holding on to her. And it was a simple thing, and it's just a very simple example, but I think it is kind of a nice example of that sort of mechanic and how it influences, the feelings with it. Even whether it's done well or not.
I always bring up Don't Look Back, which is a game where it's a Greek story where if you look back, you're trying to escort your wife's spirit out of hell. And
If you-
on
you're
that,
at a
when
scene.
you're doing that, if you turn back, you just die, basically. But, the sound her ghost makes as she, evaporates back in. I remember, making a mistake, and it's well, I screwed up. How can I reset this without turning around? And I'd rather throw myself into a pit of spikes or anything to avoid, having my wife's soul, go back. Because it was super immersive. The mechanics and the story were, super tightly wound together, and it was
That's
good.
good.
Fantastic.
Terry Kavanagh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Kavanagh.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's my man.
Pretty good. So you guys know about that thing where the game journalist sucked at Cuphead, right?
Gosh. Oh, yes.
Okay, just to be fair,
Heart palpitations.
the guy who played it is Dean Takahashi of VentureBeat, and he's not a games journalist. He's the business games journalist.
What does that mean?
He talks about the business side, the money part, and the industry. So he's not an actual games
So
journalist.
he's never played a game before?
He really sucks at it. He really sucks at it, and everybody knows that. But sometimes, but basically, they said that sometimes they just don't have enough people to go to wherever he went. What was it, Gamescom?
Now I feel bad for him.
What was it, PAX? Who was at PAX?
I think it was at PAX.
So yeah, and basically they wanted him to upload it because they thought it was fucking funny and shit. I feel so bad for him. But basically, I was on Twitter looking at the South Park stuff, and this person, tweeted a picture of a South Park character in like KKK outfit saying, "This is the game journalist difficulty level in South Park." I thought it was fucking hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I remember I love stories where it's like game journalists reviewed a game that they played on easy, and it turns out like the story has like a completely different ending when you play it on hard. And so they're like the ending was bad. It's like everyone's like, what are you talking about? Because nobody actually plays it on easy except for like journalists, and that's it.
People who base their
YouTubers.
entire worldview. So this is the person that wrote that Daily Caller article about the South Park thing, and he's actually pretty well known, sort of. People who base their entire worldview around identity politics have no sense of humor. SJWs are either upset because they think the game is mocking them. Are SJWs upset?
I'm sure they are.
I'm sure some are.
That's
I
how
actually
you are.
Really?
If you're not upset as a socialist warrior, you're not a socialist warrior. You gotta be upset.
let me see,
That's how it
because
works.
there I
It's a
know
rule.
I know
I thought
Pink
this is
News.
a win for SJWs though, no?
I mean,
so I
that's
agree. I don't think this is offensive to SJWs. I think
I think what's annoying to me is that a lot of people are like putting assumptions on what the South Park creators were meant to do. Like I told you how Daily Caller thought it was them making fun of SJWs, and I was like, I don't know if they really are. But one thing I'm going to check
I don't
actually
think
is
so.
Pink News.
I don't think it's even anything to do with SJWs.
I really
it has to
don't-
do with
yeah.
topics that SJWs care about.
Exactly.
It's
Well,
not
that's
about
how
SJWs themselves.
That's how I feel about it too. I think this is their way of doing satire on this topic. I agree with. But I'm curious. Hold on. There's one news article that I happened to see. Let me see if I can. Pink News, which if you guys don't know is it's a news site mostly for LGBTQ. Let me see what they said about it.
Why pink?
Pink because that's been the color symbol for gay for a while.
Yeah.
How is the color for breast cancer?
Pink's used for a lot of different things.
Okay.
They're just explaining it. They're explaining it. Oh. They actually didn't really say anything about their feelings on it. They just reported on it. Interesting. Oh, they actually see a positive.
How refreshing.
Their comment is the social commentary is surprisingly nuanced for South Park, which is hardly known for its politically correct approach to issues. So it's basically saying like South Park's been kind of weird in the past. This is kind of a weird good move. So I guess SJWs aren't really upset, or at least Pink News isn't upset about it. It's interesting. So
there was this game that I've been waiting for, and it just came out like yesterday. I didn't even know. It's called Beat the Game. Beat, and
Like
the
a music
reason
beat?
why I wishlisted it on Steam is because it's like an adventure point and click kind of thing in a very surreal style, and the main character looks like a realistic depiction of the character from Psychonauts.
Oh.
I had not heard of this, but it looks real cool.
Yeah, I really like the art style and everything. And basically,
It's very
the
Tim
gist
Burton.
of it is you go around collecting sounds from all over the world and then combining those sounds, and that's like how you solve puzzles and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I played a game that sounds similar to this. Basically, it was a game where you could interact with objects, and they'd make a sound, and you could take the sounds from them and swap them, and the sounds would like have some sort of property. So like, I need to move this heavy rock, so I'll take the sound of like this light object and put it on the rock, so now the rock's lighter and I can move it or something like
That's
that.
interesting.
Or now it's bouncy because I put the bouncy ball.
Do you
sound
remember
on
the
it.
game?
Did I download it?
It sounds like that game where you change the world to like fluffy world, and then everything is really light and stuff. And then when you pick up the fluffy thing and throw it, you change it back to the normal world, and it will break the glass. What is that? It's made by Kim Swift, the person
I
who
don't
made
know that game,
Portal.
I don't think.
God
I
damn
don't
it!
know.
I can't remember the name of the game. Fuck, Kim Swift. What the fuck did you make? Quantum Conundrum. That's the name of the game.
I know that name.
It's not on the level on like Portal apparently, but it's quite interesting. But yeah,
What
Beat the
could
Game.
be?
Check it out. Looks cool.
So what kind of game is Beat? It's like it's a puzzle game.
Point and click adventure puzzle stuff
Okay.
with surreal. I just really like the look of the game.
Yeah.
It does look like realistic Psychonauts, doesn't it? It's like-
It kind of reminds me of, there was a Brendan Fraser movie called Monkey Bones. It kind of reminds me of Monkey Bones, which I guess isn't really a compliment, 'cause Monkey Bones isn't a good movie, but it has some things I really like. The puzzles remind me of a game called Fracked OSC, which is another musical game. This looks cool.
yeah.
$7 right now? Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's 30% right now until the 15th of September. It's a launch sale.
The next-
30% is
next
pretty
week or
good for a
so.
new game.
Yeah.
And it's only
Sure.
$7. It's an indie game. So, yeah.
I was debating picking up the new, freaking, what's that Goblin stealth game I like? Sticks.
Sticks, yeah.
It's half off right now.
Yeah, the new one. So, yeah. Anything else?
I think
Anything
that's
interesting?
it. Nah, that's all I got.
Anything you gotta bring up for?
I think we pretty much brought it all up.
Okay,
Yeah.
then.
Let me scroll through the Neograph gap. Anything? I mean, the things I posted in chat throughout the week. I don't think there's anything that sticks out.
You should check out our Discord
say-
channel. We post cool stuff.
So, are you gonna
And
get
then you
Nier
can-
Automata or not?
Oh gosh, when does the sale end?
I don't know. Weekend?
How long to decide?
I know.
Oh, offer ends 26 September.
Oh, you got a long time.
Okay, I got a while to think about it.
So it's 35% off at $39. Yeah,
dang.
$40 is pretty good price for the game.
I did just buy a new microphone.
I just bought a bunch of
I kind of
tickets
want
for
to just
cons.
stream it, but I don't know that I could. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm very on the fence one way or the other.
So yeah, good place to wrap up.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do the thing that we usually do, Sarah.
Hi guys, I'm known around these parts as Sarahscopic, SARAHSCOPIC. You can find me on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I've been kind of quiet for a long time, but I'm still around and I'll be making new videos soon, so look me up and stuff.
I'm Foehamner. I'm also on YouTube. I'm actually in a weird position where I actually haven't done anything for my channel in like almost 2 weeks. But I haven't missed a video upload because it's recorded like a buttload of stuff like
yeah.
before all the cons I went to.
Yeah.
Just put it all up. So I need to get back in the saddle and start recording again this weekend.
Yep.
But yeah, check me up for, I don't know, games
Games and things.
and things.
Pupunoob, you know the drill. I feel like watching Logan
That would
Lucky.
be you. Oh man, you should have a channel called like The Drill or something like that. Like you know the drill.
You know the drill.
That'd be a good name for a podcast.
Oh, jeez.
But what would the podcast be about?
Mining, dig dug. I don't know.
Wait, wasn't there a podcast that you wanted to shout out or something?
So I guess yeah. So Starfinder, the rules for Starfinder came out recently. Starfinder is the sci-fi version of Pathfinder, which is kind of like D&D 3.5. So a bunch of my friends and I are going to start a Starfinder campaign. We'll start recording next week. I don't know when we'll upload it, but that'll
So
be
you'll record the actual
a
game.
podcast. So basically, yeah. Well, we don't have a board or anything. It's all going to be theater of the mind type stuff. So the plan right now.
It'd be cool to
is
have
do
like a
2
video
hours.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I'm not going to be editing it. One of the other guys,
Camera
the
hanging
DM's
on
gonna
the
be editing
top. Yeah. Oh, you're doing it online, right?
Yeah, we're all online. We're not in person at the table. Otherwise, we probably recorded it or something. But so the idea is for now to try and do 2-hour game sessions and edit them down to an hour-long podcast, which
Okay.
editing-wise I think is doable. I'm less confident in being able to accomplish worthwhile things in 2 hours of real time with
Yeah.
talking and cross-talk and all that stuff.
Yeah. Guess we'll find
So
out,
we'll
though.
see how that
Will
goes.
you be
Yeah,
learning
I'll-
how to play on the go?
Sort of. I mean, with like with most tabletop games, with RPG games, it's less about knowing how to play. It's kind of just like I say I'm going to do this thing, and then occasionally you have to look at rules to figure out how to resolve it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the times, up to the DM's discretion, just like make a a seduction
kinda
check
roll.
like,
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
based on what you're trying to do.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah.
Cool.
So see. So
Well,
we don't
look-
have a name for that yet. I liked the name of like how we roll. Like, hi, I'm so and so, and this is how we roll.
That's
But
pretty cute. That is pretty
It was already
cute.
taken by some smarter person than me.
Oh no, that is really cute though. That's too bad.
You know
So I
the
have
drill, I
no
guess.
idea
Just
what it's
try to
gonna be
fit it in
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, find
We're
a
trying
way.
to keep it also to be kind of generic because like if we like doing this, it'll theoretically persist after we finish the Starfinder campaign. So it can't just
Okay.
be like a sci-fi thing. We got to be
Yeah,
generic.
Or it can't be
to-
a Starfinder
to-
thing.
We want to keep it generic to just
Yeah.
tabletop.
So you don't
RPG
have a
in general.
name yet.
Correct. I threw out a whole bunch of names. Like basically, my strategy for naming things is I go on TV tropes
Yep.
and I just look up all the tropes for the topic. So let me try and find. Here's some of my recommendations were scanning. We have an adventurer is you, or get on the boat, dump stat, chunky salsa rule. The GM is a cheating bastard, treacherous quest giver. We help the helpless, or whatever Mancy. Also, I like
Nice.
huge heckin' heroes. It's like a big damn heroes. I think right now we're gonna do like a Star Wars parody because like one of the characters he's gonna be like Han Swolo. So I think
Darn it.
I think my character is gonna be Django Unfettered, which is an
Jesus.
awesome pun because it's like Django Fett and also Django Unchained.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, it's so good.
Jesus.
I'm so happy with that.
that's pretty
All
clever.
right.
Super
Fuck.
I'm way too proud.
Oh man. Oh jeez. All right. Well, we'll have to keep on the
Yeah.
lookout for that one.
So yeah,
I'll
once you
put-
have a
I'll
name,
tweet
man.
whenever that comes
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So yes, this
Alright.
has been episode 113 of the playonultra podcast. We will see you next week. I think. I hope. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.